Good afternoon. As promised, another wee video today, and this video is on my top 3 working knives that are UK legal. Now, let's explain that a wee bit. Over here in the UK, we have silly knife laws. The blade has to be under 3 inch. Well, it's the cutting edge has to be under 3 inch, but you're better being safe than sorry most times. But it has to be under 3 inches, non-locking. Because when most people in the normal parts of the world that are allowed normal knives with a lock, they're going to think of something like the American lawman. It's a working knife. You buy it because you want to work. You're not buying it necessarily because of its dashingly good looks, although I think it's a lovely looking knife. You're buying it because it's a work knife. It's S35VN. It's a good steel. It's a good lock on it, and you can really give it some welly. That's all fair and well if you're in one of them countries. Sadly, we're not here in the UK. So what I've decided to do is to show 3 working knives in the 3 sort of price genres that I set. Well, this is sort of a medium price, upper medium, and then high price to me. But I've chosen a genre of micarta handles because sort of when you're buying a knife that you're going to use for work, you don't want a fancy bone knife. You don't want a fancy, although they're perfectly good. But a lot of people buy them and then they sit and they don't work with them, like me, and they just easy use them. But when I get a micarta scale, there's something about micarta that just makes me want to, it's a knife that I want to use. So if I'm going into a drawer and I'm looking at nice knives that I want to carry, I'll go for a micarta if I'm going to use it. Do you know what I mean? That's just where I stand. If you're the same, let me know down below. Or if it doesn't bother you, let me know down below. But for me, most of the time, if I know I'm going to do a bit of work, I'll take a knife with a micarta handle or a G10 handle. But I've chose for this one my top 3. And I think it's just because these 3 are superb examples of knives that you're going to work with. G10's exactly the same, things like that, but these just happen to all be in micarta, and they happen to be knives that I use to work with. Now, one of them has just crept in for 2022. About 2 weeks ago I got it, and I'm going to start with it. And the other 2 you've seen, there's videos on my channel, but this one, you've seen in a couple of videos, but I haven't done a review yet. One, because it's not available here in the UK yet. It's coming. Don't worry, it's coming. And as soon as I know the first place that's got it in, I will let you know in the UK. But in the States, you've already got this. It's gone live in the States. This is an $80 knife. So that's the sort of price range this is in. And this is sort of medium price that I'm going to call medium. This is unbelievable. I mean, this really would have been knife of the year probably if it hadn't come in just so late. I think that highly of it. So I'm going to do a few measurements for you if you haven't seen it. This is the QSP Hedgehog, an absolute beauty. There it is. Now it's 2.8 ounces. Absolutely super. Perfect for a little pocket knife. It's a bit broader because of the blade that it's got on it, but it's not ultra thick. It's not something that's going to put you off. It still goes in a slip. I pop this in a slip into my pocket, even though it is micarta. But, I mean, I could just throw it in my pocket and I'll not worry. It's not going to scratch it up much. But listen to that. That is an absolutely... Neither it's a bit dead feeling compared to some of the... when I say dead, the sound is not as attractive as some of the higher end knives. But the important thing is you... Listen to that lockup. It is an absolute belter. An absolute belter. It has, by a long way, the best micarta handles that I have used on any knife so far, ever. Beautifully sculpted, and they are sculpted. It's not just it's domed in shape. Oh, excuse me. It's domed in shape, flat at the very top, and then these sculpts, is that a word? Well, that can be the new word. These sculpts on it are absolutely perfect. The micarta feels good. It feels gorgeous in the hand, especially a winter knife. If you get out on a cold day, micarta again is beautiful. This blade shape is so unusual. Cleaver shape. If you straighten this up, it would be just a sheep's foot, but it's not. It's a little curve on it, which gives a point. So if you want to go into something, especially a package, if you're scoring a package, you can judge how far you've gone into that package. It's fantastic. It really is just, I'm over the moon with this. This was sent from Dave over at QSP as a slip joint. He sent it over to me in the UK. And they're going to be available here very, very shortly, hopefully from Heine Haynes and maybe a couple of other dealers that we're not sure of yet. But highly, highly recommend it. If you're in the States, go out and get this before it goes away. This is just stunning. I wouldn't want this knife in any other blade material than micarta because it's a slice, a perfect deep hollow grind, incredibly thin behind the edge, beautifully thin behind the edge. And you can see that hollow grind. It's great when you've got sort of lights above you. You can see, look, you can see, that's how you tell. You'll see it going up and down, that hollow, and it's a lovely full flat hollow grind. I love it. Fantastic knife. And for that price of $80 or whatever it is an absolute buy me now. Gorgeous knife. It's in 14C28N, which is one of my favourite budget steels. It sharpens really easy, takes a wicked edge, and it takes a wicked mirror edge if that's what you want. But it's still thin behind the edge. You can hardly see the bevel on it. It is so thin behind the edge. There you go. And that is really sharp and really good and absolutely fantastic. So that's my sort of mid to budget. The next one I'm going to do is one that I have used so much this year. This started off as a lovely green micarta. It has got incredibly dark with just the amount of use that this knife has had. This is a lovely little small. This is the Ace Farley M390 micarta. We're going up to the range now. This is about £150, but it is a gorgeous utilitarian blade shape. That spear point there, whatever you want, master spear, it's just an absolutely a drop point. Beautiful blade, nice bit of flat, nice bit of belly, beautiful pointy tip, not completely thin, so it will do all the jobs you want to do. And these are work knives. I don't want them utterly thin if they're not for that sort of a job. Beautiful domed, as they, the Italians do with their domed back spring, which is beautiful. Really, really lovely knife. I have a wee lanyard in this. I'm not really a lanyard person, but where they put the lanyard hole is fantastic. There is a pocket clip. It's a wired pocket clip that Ace do, I can't think of it now, Ace Farley. The Ace Farley, it's a lovely pocket clip and it's ambidextrous either side. I just like it the way it is. This one I throw in my pocket. I just don't put anything on it. That's why I have the little lanyard in it. It is super. And with that M390, you'll never be cut short for having blade retention. Really, really super knife. And like, I have a large hand. This isn't a particularly large handle, right? But when I sort of sneak up, I sort of make sure I get my back. When I grab it, I just hold on there, and that is completely safe. Now, some people, I pull back, so that keeps me safe. A gorgeous knife. I can go back here and the bottom sort of kind of slips off, but it doesn't matter. It's perfect. It's a pocket knife. This is not a big working knife like that. This is a pocket knife that will do anything. Beautiful, beautiful knife, and I really am glad to have that in the collection. And last but not least, we're going to go to the high end, and this one is £250. And listen, guess what knife that is? Yes, it's the Jack Wolf knife in micarta handle. Now, this is something I don't really say too much, but if you're buying a Jack Wolf knife and you want it for the looks, they have the beautiful looking carbon fibre. It is beautiful looking, there's no doubt about it. But am I going to take that carbon fibre and use it where it might get hit or damaged? No, I'm not. Not at that price of a knife. But this, having the micarta, now this was natural micarta. I dyed it, I put a racing red on it. It came out maroon, which I absolutely love. But this is my beater. This is a Barlow. It's my beater. It's the sheep's foot. It is the knife. It's a Jack Wolf knife I pick to go and use when I want something that I'm not frightened of damaging. Now, there's no damage on that, and I've been using it for all the rough jobs. This beautiful satin and belt grind. Look at that grind. Look at the grind lines on that. They are perfection. And this is by far the most. It's a full hollow grind with a swedge here at the top. It looks just stunning. It really does. But it also is a worker. It's got the M390, that sort of blade steel that everybody wants in a knife as a minimum now. But it's beautiful. It's got the coffin jack end on it. It's a gorgeous Barlow. one of my favourite Barlows, just by far, and especially because it's one I'm not frightened to take out. Some of my jackbugs, I wouldn't hard use them because I'd be frightened of damaging them, and that's the honest answer. But this, no fear. I just take it. I don't care if I get snail trails. I mean, it has got marks. It's got wear, and it's dark. It's sort of darkened down where I've used it. It doesn't actually produce a whole lot of. I just want you to see if I. Yeah, there is snail trails on it where it's been cut, but it doesn't show that much with this darker titanium. So that for a UK knife collection of working knives, do you know, that's the best I've ever had in any year that I've been doing this. Nearly 6 years I've been doing this. That is my best, very best iteration of working knives that are UK legal. So whatever your price category, either one of these, but they're the sort of thing you can aim for is starting here, build up to this one, build up to this one. And honestly, you cannot go wrong. They are stunning knives, UK legal, which is so important, and they'll do anything you ask of them. Anything you ask of them. And you're not going to be frightened to take them out because there's no fancy handle material on them. Do you agree with that? Do you agree that these are what you would call working knives? Would you tend to use these, or are you quite happy using your carbon fiber, fancy carbon fiber ones for hard work? I just won't. And it's dead simple because they're just beautiful knife collection pieces. This is a working piece. And there's always a micarta available. I think there might even be one or two left over at Fraymar Knives, which is where I get them. So it's just fraymarknives.co.uk. Go over and see them. I think they maybe have one or two, but don't leave it too long because they'll go eventually. They'll be gone before the next one comes out. That's for sure. So there you go. My top 3 working slip joints. I hope you agree with them. Do you like them? Would you pick them? What would you put in their place? Please let me know. I'd be really interested to hear. Take care, everybody. Paddy's away. Do the next one of it soon.